On this week's episode, I'm joined by Ana Pereira de Fonseca Reis. Ana's great-grandfather was the founder of the Sanguinhal Company in 1926, and it remains a family-run business to this day, producing some of the region's most prestigious wines. We discuss Ana's story, the history of her family, and what makes this area so special for wine and more. Welcome back, or welcome to another episode of Portugal, The Simple Life. This is a really exciting episode for me. I'm joined here by Ana Pereira de Fonseca Reis. From now on, I'm only going to call you Ana. So Ana, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor to participate and to show people how special this program is, and hopefully our company and our wines too.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm delighted to have you on the show. There's a history behind why this is so special for me and for my family, but we'll get into that. But please start off by telling us a bit about you.
Okay, so my name is Ana. I have I'm actually blessed to have the possibility to do what I love. By the way, I don't know if I'm supposed to say how old I am, but I'm 41 years old, and actually I was born in Lisbon. I studied in Lisbon. I actually attended English primary school, Queen Elizabeth School, and then a German school, Deutsche Schule Lissabon. And actually this was really important so that I could learn foreign languages and I could have a working experience abroad. And from the start, I fell in love with our culture, what we have, but of the idea of telling people about what our country offers them. And so I had two working experiences that were crucial. I worked for a German pavilion in Expo 98. And then I was invited to represent Portugal. So I worked in Expo 2000 in Hanover, and I worked for Portugal's pavilion. And so this was something that motivated me to invest in this area. Although at the time I was not really sure what I was going to do, but I was always coming back and forward to Bombajal. So I was living in Lisbon. I was coming here for the weekend. I spent a lot of time with my family, with my grandparents, with my uncle that was and still is the administrator of this company, together with my mother and two other siblings, and he taught me a lot. He gave me the opportunity to travel with him. I must confess that when the first wine fair I attended, I really didn't know much about wine, so I just translated what he told me to translate. So I attended a big wine fair in Germany in Düsseldorf, Pro Wine, and I was translating information for him and for other wine producers. And so at the time I was 14 years old, and I was really just having fun and learning about the business and about how to sell our wines abroad, how to export our wines. And this was the start, and it was like a seed that my family planted inside me. And it was growing, and the interest for this was growing, and at a certain point it made sense to embrace this project and to move to the countryside. So I've been living here permanently for more than 10 years, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Sometimes people they are a bit surprised when I say I live in a little village called Sanguinhal, which many people don't even know how to pronounce, and it's like in the middle of nowhere, close to Bombajal. But I'm very blessed, and I really I feel that this is what I had to do. This is I feel accomplished. You know, of course, there are other things that are very important. My family is very important. My friends are very important. But what I love doing is also very important. So I feel that when I welcome here tourists and people that want to know more about our wines, our wine company, and this is a legacy that it's my mission, and also my brother's mission, my family mission, to preserve and to leave for the next generation. You know, our goal is to leave for at least another four generations. You know, but let's start with the next one,
Okay.
our children's generation.
Wonderful.
But this is what a little bit about me.
Okay. Well, I want to go a bit deeper. So,
Okay.
first thing I think would be nice for our listeners is to tell us a little bit about the village that you live in. A lot of people would not have heard of Bombajal, even, or let alone Sanguinal. But maybe just tell us a little bit about those places.
Okay, so Bombajal, if people want to come, and I hope they do, it's very easy. You just need to take A8, direction Leiria, and in between Torres Vedras and Caldas da Rainha, you have exit 11, Bombajal. And so it's really very close to Óbidos. We are just 14 kilometers away from Óbidos, which is also worth visiting. And by the way, our denomination origin control region is Óbidos, okay, regarding wine business or wine production. And so Bombajal, it's a small village. It's a village that is not that big. Surrounding the village, you have a lot of fields that are planted with either vineyards or fruit trees. As you know, we grow a very special pear, Pera Rocha, rock. So it's we are also pear producers. So this is also known for this fruit. And so this is very rural. It's very peaceful, very quiet. You know. And this is what makes it special. You know, if I want to. Sometimes I say, okay, I want a bit more. I don't know really how to say in English, but if I need to see traffic or to see people stressing about parking their cars or so on, I go to Lisbon. Okay, and it's always nice to go there because I love the city, but it's like. When I'm there, I love, if I want to attend a concert or a theater, or if I need something special, okay, Lisbon is the place. But I love coming back. I love to just have no problems parking my car and just to enjoy lunch break. You know, this is something that I think in big cities people tend to miss, because here you really have a break to have lunch. And I'm also, again, I'm very blessed that many times I have lunch with my family, so at my grandmother's place at Quinta do Sanguinhal. So this is this is nice. And here in our village, so Bombajal, and then in Sanguinhal, you have amazing restaurants. So which is also nice, because here, as you know, well, not just here, all over Portugal, food and wine is mandatory. It's like we take pleasure sitting down at the table and sharing a meal with our friends and family. So you have amazing restaurants in Sanguinhal, in Bombajal. And it's really then the farming that is very important for people that live here. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to in the area of your village. It's I know, and a lot of people will know that it's famous for Pera Rocha, which is the only pear of its kind in the world, and it's grown there.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a very good restaurant there called Azaleas, which is amazing, fantastic restaurant. But what else do you want people to know about your village that maybe they don't know?
Okay, so they need to first when they visit the village Bombajal, we have in the center of the village our Quinta das Cerejeiras, and Quinta das Cerejeiras is it's one of the remaining estates that still produces wine in the center of the village. So we have there about 20 hectares of vineyard planted, so in the center of the village, and they have the opportunity to visit our shop, which is quite nice, because it used to be where my great grandfather used to work. So it used to be his office. Okay, this is there located, and the house that he built to live in. It's a visit card for the village. It's a project of a very known at this time known architect. Norte Junior, and the house, it's really amazing. If people just Google it, Quinta das Cerejeiras, they will see from the beginnings of the 20th century. There was even a book released about the house, because it has a lot of details, tiles and the everything, the insides, the roofs are hand painted, and the roofs and the ceilings. I think you say the ceilings, right? And you have also close to it a beautiful chapel from the 17th century, and it's a chapel called Madre Deus, Mother of God. That also it's open to the public if people want to visit it. It's really beautiful, really special for me, because this is where I got married, where my children were baptized, and many people in the village also had their celebrations inside the chapel. So it's during 40 years it was the official church, because the village lost their church. There was a fire, and so it was destroyed. And so my great grandfather offered his private chapel to the population. And so there's a lot of connection with inhabitants because of this. So in Bombajal, you can have this experience, and then you have surrounding Bombajal little villages, like Carvalhal, for example, which is very nice. Also, you have also surrounding it outside Bombajal. You have also another estate, Quinta dos Louris, which is also nice because of the gardens and the statues that you have the possibility to see. So it's the biggest European Buddhist garden. So you can always go and check it out. So you have many things to do. So you can spend here a weekend with your family. We're not that far away from Lisbon, which is nice. So it just takes you 40 minutes to get here, and we are close to the beach. So easily you can go to the beach, and really in the restaurants, and the one you mentioned it's a good example of that. You will have a lot of pleasure tasting the genuine and the real Portuguese gastronomy.
Yeah, wonderful. You mentioned escaping, or if you wanted the chaos and the noise, you could go to Lisbon. But what were some of the reasons that you decided to move here to this area permanently?
First, because what I was doing at the time, so helping organizing private events like weddings and corporate events, it made no sense to live in Lisbon and work here. You know what what the best part is that you are living almost where you work. Well, sometimes this didn't sound well, because
I know what you mean.
But it's like you don't need to be worried about taking half an hour to get to the place you have to be. It's like you are here. So also because of the kids and the family, of course, this was also a big decision. But they have things that in Lisbon I couldn't assure them, and so here the freedom to just go outside, run through the vineyards, go and pick grapes when they're ready and ripe, go and pick figs when they're ready and ripe, see how long it takes to grow their own tomatoes. It's real, and it's very interesting, because actually what I've realized is that I have friends here, and very good friends that I've met along these years, and some of them they started as tourists and then they became my friends. because people fell in love with the region. And you have many examples of not just Portuguese but also foreigners that choose to live here. So because you have the best of two worlds, you know. It's like first of all, to buy a house is still a possibility. So for my generation, you know, to buy a nice house with a garden, and as you know, in Lisbon the prices are a bit at the moment prohibitive. It's like it's not
Yeah, a little
it's
bit
not
crazy.
a little bit crazy. So if I think if I start to think about this, you know, when my parents were about my age, they bought a nice apartment in the center of the city. You know, it would be impossible for me to do that at this moment. So here it's possible still to invest in real estate and in nice real estate. And so it's like people that had the experience of living in a big city. Once they moved here or they had an experience here, they said, you know, this is perfect for us, because we can go to the beach and surf. We can today many people work online, they work at home, you know, and you have easy access to anything you need, and so I have this experience of many people that decided to live in the area, not just Portuguese, but also people in the area. I have neighbors from Belgium, from France, from the States, from England, from Ireland. So many people.
Anna, I mean, I live in the area. I have family in Bombarral as well, so I know
Okay.
how beautiful life is. But I mean, you didn't mention anything in the intro. You're a mother of three. How good of a life do your children have in this area, in this part of the world?
Suddenly, when people and especially when you say you're mother of three, I still need to program this in my brain. You know, it's like the ship is still updating the information, especially because my youngest was born last October, and it's
Congratulations.
thank you so much, and it's really you know, I'm again I'm it's a privilege for them to grow up here. It's for now we are very pleased. We have you know, we have an amazing local school where that they attend, and where they are very happy, and it's perfect because they have the possibility of each day spending time with my mother, with my grandmother. My grandmother, by the way, she's the actually the owner of the land she's the matriarch of our family, and she owns Quinta do Sanguinhal. So this is a big privilege for them to spend time here with her, and she's currently 102.
Wow.
And yeah, and so
Wow.
it's this the family for me, it's what let's say what sustains everything. You know, it's like you inherited a lot, but it doesn't make any sense if you can't share. Of course, many times you also have you also sometimes disagree on on things. And as you know, when we work with family, it's we have to find a way to make our projects possible. And of course, I have my opinion, my brother has his opinion, my mother generation has their opinion. So, but at the end, you know, we share the same passion, the same strategy for the company, and for them to be part of it, it's really it's quite. It's really fascinating, I must say. When I have Joaquin around and he has a polo with a with the name of the estate printed on, and he shows people around where we are, our cellar, and he explains how this used to work, you know. And he will turn 6 next month. It's because something was already planted inside him, you know. The seed is already there. So he goes to the vineyard, he knows how to pick grapes, he knows how to prune, he knows how to pull the leaves from the root, you know, the little suckers. So we transfer our knowledge to them because it makes sense. Of course, I don't I would love them to be part of it, Again, I was not forced to be part of it, and this is important. You know, I had the opportunity to experience. I had the opportunity to memorize the smell, the aromas floating in the air when the grapes are crushed and squeezed, and this is something that stays. And so. It's always sometimes people they wonder and they ask me, would you like your children to carry on? Of course I would, but this is my expectation, and they have to be happy doing whatever they want, you know. And for the moment now, I'm happy with our decision. I'm happy that they are around, that they don't need to spend 1 hour in traffic to go to school, or I don't need to take a subway, bus, or whatever to travel in the city, you know, to and to commute in the city and or to Lisbon. And so I'm happy with our choice.
I want to talk about your memories of growing up around the wine farms and around the business, but maybe a good place is to go back to the beginning. You've got a picture of, I believe it's your great
my great grandfather.
Your great grandfather,
my great grandfather,
Bisavô.
Bisavô. Yeah, so he started the business.
Okay.
He actually he was not born here, so I guess that he also fell in love with Bombarral. So he was born in a small village called Malpartida, and this belongs to Guarda district, so really north of Portugal, interior north of Portugal. And when he was just 13 years old, he migrated to Lisbon. So when he started working, and his first successful business was Sociedade Comercial Abel Pereira da Fonseca. This was his name. It was a distribution company. So he was buying wine from different regions, from different producers, and he was distributing them in Portugal and overseas as well. And at a certain point, he had almost 100 stores selling not just wine. So it was like a mini, small supermarkets, supermarkets, you know. And he was very successful with that. And at a certain point, he decided it was time to start his own wine company and to start his own wine production. And so he sold his share in this partnership he had in this Sociedade, and he moved to the countryside because he knew well this part of Portugal, this countryside, because although at the time we didn't have an easy access as we do nowadays, we didn't have A8. It took a bit longer to arrive here.
A lot longer.
I used to the train. It was I remember it took about almost 2 hours to arrive here. You know, because it stopped in every
single little village.
Every single village. It was but anyway, he came to the region because he had an opportunity to invest and to buy the estates that we still own nowadays. So we can't forget beginnings 20th century, things were about to change immensely. We stopped having a monarchy, and in the year 1911 we started having a republica. And so for him this was his shot to buy. Because a lot of the landowners, they wanted to sell their properties, and they weren't sure what was coming next, and so he was a visionary, let's say so, and he thought, this is my chance, so I'll buy what you want to sell, and he bought the 3 quintas. By the way, I don't know if someone already explained to you that quinta means farm or estate, but also 1/5. So we used to pay 1/5 of the production to the king. That's why the word quinta.
Okay, so quinta I always knew was a farmhouse.
Exactly.
A lot of the time related to some kind of agriculture, so whether that be wine or dairy
or animal. Exactly.
But quinta to buy if they bought that land, 1/5 of what they paid had to go to the king.
Exactly.
Wow,
1/5.
I didn't know that.
It used to be a tax, quinta. Thursday it's quinta feira, right?
Yeah.
Quinta, 5th day of the week. And quinta, it means it was a 5th part that belonged to the king. So a 5th part of the income of that land belonged to the king.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
blown my mind. I had no idea. Okay.
yeah. That's
Wonderful.
why. So he bought the three quintas, and he really made a difference for Bombarral's population at the time, because he at the time he employed 300 people. And so he made he had amazing ideas, like for example in Quinta de São Francisco he had a school for for his workers' children. He had a football field that still exists, so where they could play football, which, as you know, it's always very important for the Portuguese to be active and to exactly. He in Bombarral, at a certain point, he was the mayor, so he interfered with a lot of things, namely with electricity. That at the time he was crucial, so that electricity was available in the region. A lot of things. He connected villages. Many things that he did. So he was an entrepreneur, not just in his own business, but in the village, let's say, life. So and he started the business. So and then in Cerejeiras, Quinta das Cerejeiras, he built his house to live in, since he didn't have really a house here. So he decided to build a house to live in, and he stayed here until he died. And then his son, so my grandfather, carried on. So he inherited the business and he carried on. He married my grandmother that still lives here in the property. So actually she was a city girl. Okay, she was born in Lisbon and she moved to the countryside because she fell in love and got married. What's funny is that her family had to do with cork, so it was a perfect match.
Wow, what a great combination!
Great combination, exactly.
So they knew where to go when they had to bottle the wine.
Exactly. And so she moved to the countryside, and she lives, and still nowadays she lives here.
And that's your grandmother, who's 102.
102, exactly.
Tell me about, some of your memories growing up in that environment, and what are some of the things that you remember?
Of course, when we picked the grapes, having all the people around, which today we do the same, helping picking the grapes. So there were things like, for example, also my grandmother would ask me to go to the local not really supermarket, was like a mercearia, you know, these small little markets, I don't know how to call them, but like in mini market in Sanguinhal, and I would go there and get eggs that you would forget, or get flour or butter or whatever, and I would ride and I would go there. Things like, for example, each 23rd of each month, you have like a market in Bombarral. You have all these sort of things. You have fruit, vegetables. You have these velharias. You have many things. And I remember going antiques and all this. Yes, yeah. And I remember going with my grandmother. And actually, once I was just 12 years old. I bought a small turtle. You know, these little ones, you know, and still today she lives at my place. She's about this big.
Amazing.
And I remember buying this in this market. And at the time I remember going, riding the bike and having the plastic where she was with some water, you know, when I came home, and I was so happy with that. I remember having ducks as pets, you know, having ducks and also rabbits, which unfortunately many times they would be our lunch. So this was not nice, you know, to know that my pets were about to be eaten.
Don't give them names. Don't give them names.
No.
Otherwise you're going to eat them later. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
And how did that influence you into getting involved in the business to the point that you are now?
Because when we it's interesting, because I must say that when we decided to open doors of Quinta do Sanguinhal, because the wine business always existed, you know, the production, so the vineyards my great-grandfather started those. So although when he bought the estate, the property already had vineyard planted, but they were not organized the way they are nowadays. So he invested that. But that was something that we always had. And one thing also that happened every year was a wine fair in Bombarral. This is usually end July, beginnings August. Festival do Vinho Português.
I know it very well.
You know it?
I've been many times.
Okay. And so in this festival, we usually have our own stand, and also I used to be there and helping selling the wine, you know, and pouring the wine into the customer's glass. And I always loved selling.
Okay, hold on. Let's take a step back to explain people how
Yes.
the party works, because it's amazing. You arrive there, pay a small entrance fee, and they give you a glass.
Exactly.
And you walk around the whole fair, just
the
trying
whole fair,
and
yes,
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic. So it's really very, very traditional, very rustic. What's also amazing, which I forgot to mention, it's mata. This is like a small park that exists in the center of Bombarral, like a small forest that we call mata. And this is also very beautiful. And actually, my great-grandfather was also at the time involved in the project of which species that they should plant, and so this is really nice where it happens, and it's a possibility for everybody to taste what's not just locally produced, but what's all over Portugal produced, and they have this possibility of just buying so paying this fee, buying the glass, and just go around and taste what's available for them to taste. And I used to go to this fair, and to get some pocket money, you know, I used to work there and help sell the wine. And this is one thing I love. I love to sell wine and to explain what they are, what they have available for them to taste, and again, this was something I used to do. I started doing it when I was 13, 14, and yeah. So the thing is, when we started organizing events, so in the year 2000, the first event we organized was my cousin's wedding. So he had about 300 guests, you know, and no place to accommodate them. This was in the year 2000, so 20 years ago. And we said, okay, this is an opportunity for us to rebuild this part of this estate that is not being used except for parking old cars and old tractors and furniture that people don't want that when they move. And so we said, okay, this is an opportunity. Let's organize the party here. And since then, we started organizing the events. And I was, in a way, involved in this part of the business. So I would help during the weekend, and I would welcome the new, let's say, bride and grooms that would like to get married. I would welcome them here. I would meet with them, and I would offer them what we were able to do for the day that they were planning. Also, a lot of there was a time when we had a lot of fairs in Portugal for wedding that were specialized in events, and especially weddings. You know, I remember participating in Santarém, Rio Maior, Torres Vedras. There was a big one in Expo Noivos in Lisbon. So all these fairs, you know, usually I was there. Sometimes friends of mine were there helping me, because sometimes it was for a whole week or 2 weeks. And so I was representing the estate and representing our business in these fairs, you know, and so this was, I guess, what introduced me, you know, and when because the wine tourism in Portugal, it's something that is quite recent in comparison with other countries that explore more this business. And the wine route exists in this region, but as a wine route, it has some defaults. And as you know, probably if you drive and you just follow the signs, and probably you try to knock on someone's door and no one will answer, or you have estates that belong to the wine route, but they are really not offering the possibility of visiting and organizing wine tours. So when I decided to be part of this permanently and to work here permanently, I had an experience also with my family which was crucial. So I went with my parents I visited the United States, and I went to Napa to see how they organize themselves, you know. And I think that because one thing I have no doubts, they know how to sell their history. And compared with ours, it's much recent than ours.
Yeah.
But they know how to sell what they have and what they don't have. It's like they, out of nothing, they have a museum, they have a souvenir shop, they have, and so me and my mother, we inspired ourselves in the trip we did. And one thing for me was something determined. At the time, I was reading Robert Mondavi's biography, and I had big expectations when we visited Robert Mondavi winery. And I must say, this was one of the ones that I was less impressed. You know, I felt like just one number. You know, of course they have I don't know how many visitors per year, but I enjoyed much more the small wineries, you know, more boutique wineries, and the ones where I had the experience to meet the owner, to experience a bit how their businesses are, how these businesses work, not just to have a guide that just read a text, you know, and just showed people around and just like that. So for me to have this experience, we decided to create a program where people would feel special when they come to Quinta do Sanguinhal. And because my grandmother lives here, we spend a lot of time here. You know, I lived here before I got married. I still have my room at my grandmother's house where my kids sleep their nap, you know. And this is our house. We are opening a bit of our lives to the people that come here. And so we have to really explain how a typical Portuguese family manages to produce wine in this region, to how we decide on the type of grapes we want to grow, on the type of wines we want to produce, and to tell them our history, our ancestors' history, but our current story. So how do we let's say keep this business alive, because it's a business that we are the fourth generation. So how we manage to sometimes even reinvent ourselves, so that because things are quite different than from those days, things are and nowadays we have another let's say another big there's a word that I'm missing, but it's like it's like we now definitely need to reinvent ourselves and to try new ways of you know, welcoming people and to organize even the parties and so on, because we have to reinvent ourselves every day, because it's how it is, you know.
Okay, well, let me give you some encouragement. I have spoken to many people who have visited and done wine tours and gone for tastings. And when you say you want people to come and feel special, they do. That they get there. So congratulations, it's a beautiful thing. I think something really special, and I think it's something that's part of our culture in Portugal, is the story behind these businesses. I think people want to know the history. They want to know about the family. They want to know why it's there, and it's a beautiful part of our culture, I think. So that's definitely something that people love to hear about. There's a really interesting story for us, for me and for my wife and our family about one of the wines, which is Quinta São Francisco. I was very sick last year, and when I was in hospital, my wife and my parents, they would meet in the evenings to sit and talk and to try to stay positive, because I was really sick, and they would drink São Francisco, and they call it the saint. They call it the thing that helped us get through a very difficult time. My pops, he didn't drink wine before, and he now drinks only the saint. So we have a very special relationship with one of your wines, and that's part of our story and the wines that you produce. But tell us a little bit about the wines, about the different wines.
No, that's inspiring. That's inspiring. That's really something that touched me a lot. And as I said to you as well, already, you have here a special São Francisco bottle for you to drink here with me.
Okay? Wonderful, thank you.
And with your family. Look, this is the thing, is that you have so many different brands and so many different wines produced all over the world. You have to have a bond with your consumers. So the consumers have to identify because when we talk about wine, this is a drink where you already have a lot of information when you buy the bottle. You have, you immediately recognize the region, the producer. Many times the grape varieties are written down, you know, and then there's others, the year, the percentage of alcohol, etc. But it's one label. So we want really people to become ambassadors for our brand, for our wine. This is our goal. But we want also people to become ambassadors for Portuguese wine, because as I told you, I brought here our map, how Portugal is divided regarding regions. And as you can see, so each color represents a different region. All Portugal is the market for wine production. So from Vinho Verde region, Douro, up to the Algarve. So even in the islands, we have wine. So in the Açores and Madeira, we produce wine. So we are inside Lisboa region. We belong to Lisboa. And we are right here in the middle, Óbidos region, so we belong to Óbidos, so the denomination origin control in our case is Óbidos. But when people come to us, the wine tasting we organize is for wine lovers, but also for people that don't understand much, or they just know the difference between a red and a white, and it's because they see the color of the wine. So we produce wines not for of course wine experts, sommeliers, journalists. They are important, but we produce wines for final consumers. We produce wines for people that enjoy the best that life can offer you. And so what we want them is to really understand the diversity of grapes that we have in Portugal, over 250, and the different possibilities that we have as a wine producer to offer them different references, different results, because even within the same grape varieties, we are able to produce rosé, red, fortified wine, and wines unoaked and oaked, so more full body or less full body. And this is what we want them to really experience when they taste the wine. So to have fun with this. But we don't, you know, sometimes people are a bit overwhelmed with the language that people use when they comment on a wine, you know, and it's like a bit, it's almost like it's a different vocabulary. It's a different, we talk about tannins and a wine being or not full body, and, you know, and, or what oak means. What does oak mean? You know, if I place a wine in a glass and say, look, what do you think about this wine? Do you think it's aged in oak barrels or not? It's for them to be aware of what elements the oak transfers into the wine, you know, and people, if they are, let's say, if you explain them and if you let them taste, next time they will taste a wine, I'm sure it will be a bit different. They will have a different approach to the wine they are about to taste. Because it's really important that it's the information we have to provide the information, so that, for example, a wine that is very fruity and it's a wine with less alcohol contents in our region, probably it's a leve wine, a wine that enters a category that is very special in our region that many people don't know about. They know about Vinho Verde, and many times the translation is not that accurate because they translate for green wine, and wine is not green. Wine is either white, red, or rosé, okay? Yes. But it's the name of the region, and that's why Vinho Verde. But my idea is that they have the knowledge to choose better than if they've had if they didn't have this experience, and to trust their instinct, because this is very important. Sometimes the information is such that people tend to say, many times I have here clients that they say, oh, I don't understand nothing about wine. And then I ask, okay, but do you know what you enjoy? Do you know your favorite wine, or what are your preferences? And this is enough. Of course, if someone comes and say, oh, I hate wine, then it's a difficult start. But and this is a challenge for me to make them enjoy wine. But of course, it has to be steps by steps. I started enjoying wine with lighter wines and fruitier wines. And the wines I'm drinking nowadays is very different than when I started drinking. And now it's an official interview, so I have to say 18 years old. So, but anyway, but but when you, it's like with the kids, when we usually say, and my grandmother and my mother always said to me, you're not allowed to say I don't like unless you already tasted and you say, okay, I tasted and I really don't enjoy this so much, because you have to try. If my kids if I place something in their plate and they say, oh, I don't like this, and I say, but you haven't even tried it, so this is the thing with wines. You have to try, and it's important that you try many times with the right company, not just the right food, the right company, because if you are, our mood interferes a lot in the tasting as well. If we start the day happy, and if we start the day, in a light mood and enjoying what we are doing and having a nice meal with with nice friends or with our family, it's completely different than if we are angry, if we are not enjoying the moment, if we are and the wine will not please us. I'm sure of that, because this interferes a lot. And the food, the right food, if we are eating, a roasted lamb in the oven that cooked there for one day, I don't know, with I'm of course exaggerating, but with the nice potatoes and a lot of olive oil and onions and garlic and well, a lot of and we season a lot this meat. It's amazing to have with a full body red that aged in oak, then it's great. But if we are having just some sushi, it's like I would think about something like a rosé or a lève wine, a lève white wine. So it's really important that we just make a bit to make our consumers' life a bit easier when they go to the supermarket and they have to pick a wine for that night, for dinner, or just to offer someone, so that they have because the options are quite huge, and so our idea is that people that they really create, in this case, a bond with the brand and we in the future they will be our faithful buyers, let's say so.
Well, we have a strong bond with at least one of the brands there. But tell us about the wines you've got.
Okay, so we have Quinta de São Francisco. So by the way, I brought the bottle. So this one, okay, Quinta de São Francisco DOC Óbidos, and the grapes, by the way, that we use a lot is Castelão, Aragonês and Touriga Nacional. This is a combination, a blend of 3 grapes that, especially Castelão, it's very, very trendy here and in Peninsula de Setúbal, also known as Periquita. So we have 2 names for the same grape, and sometimes this makes our consumers' life a bit challenging because, for example, Aragonês equals Tinta Roriz, and in Spain, Tempranillo. So again, one grape and different names, also very popular here. And this combination of grapes we also have in Quinta do Sanguinhal. So this has so the label has the house, okay, my grandmother's house, and the building that we visit, which is a distillery, which is amazing. It's one of the oldest and biggest distilleries that the region still has. I'm not sure if you know, but brandy, it's very important. It's crucial for the port production. So my great-grandfather used to distill in large scale to supply port producers as well. And brandy in the region is so important that we have the market region just for brandy production. I'm talking about Lourinhã. That is the market region in Portugal for brandy production. And brandy is also something we have also available. We have, for example, a special edition from the year 1980 that was recently released into the market. So this is also something special. But I'm going to show you now a special brand. This is a Magnum bottle, 2011, Quinta das Cerejeiras, a Grand Reserva. And this bottle, this label, we've never changed for almost 100 years. So this is, let's say, a visit card, and it's a reference for our region. I would say for Portuguese wines. It's a wine that makes us proud, and it's only released into the market when we have excellent crops. So this is Quinta das Cerejeiras, and you also have a Jeroboam bottle for collectors. It's a beautiful 3-liter bottle. And we were talking a lot about my great-grandfather. We released APF to pay tribute to him, because we realized we didn't have a wine with his initials. And so APF, Abel Pereira da Fonseca, again from the year 2011, because 2011 was an amazing year, was considered one of the best years from this era. And this is a limited edition, and definitely a wine for special moments, and for next Christmas, for example, it would be a recommendation. But I would definitely invite people to come over. At Quinta do Sanguinhal, usually we organize tours. So we have 2 schedules. We have 10:30 and 3 o'clock every day. So by appointment, nowadays it's required because of all the procedures that we need to have, so that people feel secure and they can taste all the wines, and so it's something. It's important that we organize ourselves so that we don't, because many times what happened before, we had different bookings and we would gather people together. Now we are not allowed to do so it's important that people book in advance. In Quinta das Cerejeiras, they can just show up. So the store is open every day until 7 o'clock, and Saturdays as well. And they can just pop in and just look around, taste 2 or more wines. And we have a tour. It's not really a tour. It's like people can go on their own and see they can visit the chapel. They can visit a museum that we opened this year, and they can taste 2 wines. And it's something that all the programs are available online, and they can also choose online. And there's a full description of all the programs that we offer.
Wonderful. We're going to get to how people can find you, but I want to just ask you one more question before we start wrapping it up slowly, because I know you have to go pick up your children. But Anna, I've spoken to a few people who have visited with you at the Quintas and tasted the wines and learned about the history, and they say that you speak with so much passion and so much pride, and we can see that here today as well. I know why, but what makes you proud of Portugal and this beautiful country of ours?
Well, I think that in general, we know how to welcome people in general. So it's like not just here but everywhere, people are friendly, and even if people don't speak that well English or another language, because as you know, nowadays we have a lot of people coming from France, and people still approach us and they say, "Oh, vous parlez français?" And it's very funny because there was a generation in Portugal that learned or studied French as a foreign language. My grandmother speaks better French than she does English. But it's like we always try our best, even if we don't speak the language, we will do, even if it's necessary, we will draw in a piece of paper the way to reach that place that people are aiming to. You know what I'm talking, it's like, nice. I think this is, then we have Portugal offers so many different options, and it changes so quickly. The diversity is huge. So I was talking about the diversity regarding grape varieties, but if you are here and you can easily visit Óbidos, which is amazing, in this medieval town inside the castle, it's amazing. If you drive a bit further north, you have Alcobaça, an amazing monastery. You can taste this wonderful conventual desserts that are known in these pastries in Alcobaça. But you have Batalha, you have in Lisbon also a lot of monuments, a lot of history. Then we have also the food is also very for people that enjoy, of course, to eat, to experience the genuine and the diversity of different dishes that we have according to the region, because it changes if we are in the south or if we are in the north or in the central Portugal. We have this coast, this immense coast, you know, it's like beach is easy to have access to, because we have the Atlantic, you know, just easily to be seen. And then it's really the weather, you know. I think at the end the nice weather, because even during winter, of course it gets cold than in summer, but it's still, we don't have any snow, we don't have frost. It's like you know, it's milder temperatures, so it's always nice, because although we have some rainy days and although sometimes it's a bit annoying for tourists, but we love the rain, as you know, and it hasn't been rained that much, so but still the percentage of sun that we get throughout the year, you know, it's really huge. So the nice weather invites people to visit the country, and easily you find different reasons to visit a certain place. So it's even myself, you know, I'm always amazed when we were talking before the interview started that I was just in Coimbra, and I brought my kids to Portugal dos Pequenitos, which I visited when I was their age, you know, and now it's different when I go there as an adult, because everything seems much smaller when I was there as a child. But it's like it's beautiful, you know. The university is beautiful. Quinta das Lágrimas is beautiful. So many different things, and it just took me 1 hour to get there. It's like because the country is small, you know, so easily you can go to the Algarve, and I'm lucky, and this is one thing, I'm very fortunate to have different. My roots are
spread out around Portugal.
Yes, because my grandmother, my father's mother was born in Salir, that is close to Tavira, São Brás de Alportel, Tavira. So Tavira, it's the most amazing town in a city in the Algarve. You have all this coast that you have to cross Ria Formosa to go to the beach. So you have amazing wild beaches, and you have places like Castela Velha and others, Cabanas, amazing places in the Algarve, and I was fortunate enough to experience them as well. Here, I used to spend time in Baleal, as I told you, amazing place to surf, amazing place to eat fresh fish and seafood. If you go to Baleal, you understand what's magical about the place. But you have other places like São Martinho do Porto, you have Foz do Aralho, you have Ericeira, Santa Cruz, so many different places that are different. The landscape is different, but it's worth visiting, you know. And so I think that's it, you know. I think the list is not easy to sum it up. It's not easy to say what's the name one reason. It's for me very difficult, very challenging because
wonderful.
Yeah, because of the different elements. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Quickly, how can people find you online and get in touch to find out more about what you are doing there?
Okay, so the easiest way it's really to access our website, and the website, the name of our estate or our company is not easy, but I'll spell it out. So it's www.sanguinhal, SANGUINHAL .com, And so we also so on social media, so Facebook, Instagram, we are also we are always posting some information, some new information regarding our new products or our events, or we for example, we are now organizing a vegetarian workshop, which is now you know, something a lot of people are interested in, and habits are changing, and so we are for example this next weekend we are organizing that. So, and we always post these informations online, but through our website you have easy access to our company, also to our wines. We have an online shop as well, so if you would like to try our wines, we deliver for free if you order over 50 euros. So we can also do this for Portugal, so continent, so not the islands, but also we are able to of course deliver in Madeira and Açores, but this price is for Portugal's continent, so the mainland. And yeah, it's easy. It's easy to, if not A8, exit 11,
and come and find. And come and find.
5 minutes after you leave the A8, you are in our Quinta do Sanguinhal.
We will put links in the show notes of the podcast for people to click and link and get in touch, because they do need to visit and taste and experience.
Definitely
Experience the place. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world, and a beautiful quinta as well. And a question that we ask all of our guests: Portugal, the simple life. Why?
The simple life, because it's again, it's not it's an easy and not easy answer, but what we all learn from this craziness of being locked down, and I really felt the privileges were huge, because here what Portugal offers is really this, let's say, you have sun, you have amazing food, that you have everything available, everything that you need to prepare amazing food at home. It's available in where we are in the countryside. Easily you can go to these small markets, grab some vegetables, grab some nice cheese, amazing homemade bread, and you have like the most gourmet and fantastic food with simple stuff. You don't really, sometimes people look for the next combination. Fusion is very trendy right now, and sometimes when you just grab a bread that was just baked in a wooden oven and you spread butter, you know, for me this is a simple thing that pleases me the most, you know, and this is the thing. You have so many simple things that give you such a pleasure. You just have to be more aware of them, because it's really the simple stuff that matter, you know, and people now were aware of that. At least I think they are more aware of that, and so it's really. Sometimes when you think that you need it's a bit. I'm not going to say that everybody wants to have a big car, a big house, a big this, a big that. This is of course, I'm going to be very so I'm not. It's cliche, you know. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's true that at the end, what people really now the biggest privilege is to be healthy, to stay healthy, you know, and to enjoy the simple stuff in life. And this is what I think in Portugal is easy to do, because easily you can have a great wine, great cheese, great bread, and you know, it's a simple stuff that pleases you. So, and this is something that for me it is what makes sense, you know, and to be around with friends and family and just have a hug, just be able to share with them what's important in life, you know. So this is what at the end matters.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anna. I love this conversation. I look forward to visiting there soon. But for now, I'm going to let you call it.
That's a wrap.
So thank you once again to Anna, and thank you to all of you for listening. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you. And as we say in Portugal, saúde. Welcome to the simple life.